Roanoke River is one of North Carolina's true comeback stories. It's a place where sportsmen, under the solid direction of our Fish and Wildlife Resource Commission, dutifully endured the burden of harvest restrictions, short harvest seasons, and changing regulations. The population dwindled to less than 200,000 fish in the 80s, but now has come back to over 1 million. This cooperation has led to a world-class striped bass fishery, and that's really something to be proud of. We can hold our heads high as sportsmen and women and say, we helped do that. It's late January and the all-out crew is launching at the Astoria boat ramp near the town of Jamesville in Martin County. Chris made the 2.5-hour drive from Lee County this morning through intermittent snow, and the weather forecast says there's more to come. Chris has been looking forward to making this trip for some time and isn't going to let a little precipitation stop him from meeting up with Captain Scooter Lilley of CWW Inshore Charters. Scooter was raised on the Roanoke River and knows it like the back of his hand. In addition to the Roanoke, Scooter is no stranger to most of the lakes, sounds, and rivers from the Piedmont eastward. He's been a competitive angler since the 90s and takes his fishing seriously. On the way out to the first spot, Scooter gives Chris the scoop on what the river is doing and how it affects the bite.
Well, I've noticed that over last night with this northwest wind blowing, and the water's already dropped probably a good 4 or 5 inches, which means the water's full. And that's always good for catching these stripers. Anytime you got a lot of current flow, it positions the fish where they're feeding. Right. And I'm hoping this morning it'll tell us the tale when we pull up on the first spot and see what happens. Well, Chris, now if you can just remember what you did on that cast to catch that fish and try to reproduce it, I'm sure you may. Here we go. Lift him right on out of the water. That's a good striper. I'm trying. He's not letting me grab him. My fingers are not working good. Here we go. It's a pretty fish. And that's a typical size of these stripers that are running up here. You can get them anywhere from 2 pounds to 10 pounds.
You know, it always strikes me, it's very interesting, I should say, that the barometer has something to do with fishing, because you wouldn't think that underneath the water that they're going to be able to tell any temperature change or any type of pressure change out there, but there's something to it, because you can absolutely be certain of it every time, can't you?
Well, Chris, you know that anytime you have a low pressure like this system come through, that barometer drops and the fish really go to feeding. And this is just I know it's cold, but it's really a good time to be on the water to catch a variety of species of fish. I've seen where the largemouth and the crappie and everything else, they bite really good on days like this if you're willing to bear the cold to give it a try.
Would you believe, I mean, we're looking at a snowstorm here, and I've got a striper on the end of my line.
Now we got 2 stripers on the end of the line.
Now we got 2 stripers on the end of the line. This fishery is really phenomenal here. I'm telling you, look at this. Look at this, and this is a nice one here.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty fish, pretty fish. 2 pretty fish.
Look at here. Bring him up here. Up.
It's understandable. It's only 30 degrees.
There we go. All right. Okay. Get this out. Now these little, isn't this a nice fish? Look at that. What a phenomenal fishery here. We're gonna have to just do this again. Woo, I like it. I'm liking this now. I'm liking this, snowing and catching fish. Who would have thought it?
We'll be right back with more Carolina All Out. Carolina All Out is brought to you by
Look like they're further out. Now, what are these fish?
What you got right here where you're casting is you got a flat.
Right.
That flat's only 1 to 2 foot deep out here in front of us. Mm-hmm. And these fish are sitting off the edge of that flat where it drops off in the deeper water. And if you notice, there's a mix line out here where the current is pulling the water out of this creek, which causes fish to feed right here on the minnows and the crayfish and stuff.
Right.
They come out.
Now you're catching, you seem to be catching them right there in that little area.
Yeah, there's quite a few fish right here right now. That's a good fish.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Now, would you call this water kind of a, this is a stained, is this a, I mean, the water seems pretty clear. Is this clear for the Roanoke?
Yeah, it's kind of clear right now. In the winter months, it usually clears up some, but we've had an awful lot of rain. And I really do not understand that why it really isn't a little bit muddier than it is.
Right.
With all the rain that we've had. And that's a good fish for the river run. See him in Weldon in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it does get muddy, but it doesn't seem to affect the bite much at all. Look at it.
No, I'm doing the Scooter Lilley approach, and I think it's working for me. Folks, you got to remember the Scooter. Hey, you know, this is a good fish
That's
too.
good.
It feels good. I haven't gotten good enough to tell just exactly what I got on line, but he definitely feels better than the last couple that I've had. Gosh, I'm loving this. I'm telling you. I mean, you know, we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice fish. There we go.
We're gonna put two on.
Yeah, he's getting on a little show for me. He's putting on some power. I love the tug, man. I'm telling you what. I don't know if that's what draws everybody to fishing, but I do love the
There you go.
Look at here. Look at two twins just about. Look at that.
Good fish.
Wow. Watch your approach of getting in there. And looky here, looky here.
Right here's.
You're having a hard time.
That's a good
really
fish.
Nice fish. Oh,
Well, I quit
and a
released
release, but look at here. Another beautiful striper. Here on the Roanoke with Captain Scooter Lilley. I can't think of a better place to be when it's snowing than on the Roanoke, fishing for stripers. Man, I appreciate this. Scooter, this is
no
awesome.
problem anytime.
This is awesome.
Even when it's snowing.
Even when it's snowing.
This segment is brought to you by the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission.
The technique that we're using here today on the Roanoke, water temperatures in the lower 40s. And these fish they're still very active fish because stripers are cold weather fish. But they're still relating kind of towards the bottom of in that 10 to 15 foot of water. What I'm doing is I'm casting out into a shallower depth around 3 foot deep. And these fish are sitting up on the eddies and current breaks where I can take this bait right here and cast it in that 3 foot of water, and I'm kind of slow drifting it and bouncing it right down the ledge into that 10 to 15 foot drop where the fish are sitting at. And what you do is you just kind of throw it upstream and let the current drift your lure down the bank. And as you see me jigging it, or lifting the bait off the bottom and twitching it, the bait's getting a little bit further out and it's going a little deeper, and the current's just washing it down. And the fish, with the current coming down this way, the fish are facing upstream. And my bait I'm casting upstream is being presented coming downstream towards the fish. So the fish has got a target that's coming right towards him, and he sees it, and he attacks it. I said, and there it is, a proven technique.
Carolina All Out is brought to you by... Scooter took the time to show me the new Hummingbird depth finder provided by Angler's Choice. Now, Angler's Choice has been sponsoring Scooter for over 20 years and has 4 stores across Virginia and North Carolina. I couldn't believe the detail that it was displaying. Like all modern fishermen, Scooter uses depth finders like this to mark structure and changes in elevation to find likely places where the fish will hold off of during different times of the year. And it doesn't hurt to actually see the fish either. He took us to a point he'd found months before, and they were there.
There he is.
See, that fish triggered another one in the bite.
Sure did. Heard that splash. And
What you got?
Nah, it's not. That's a little
Oh
fast.
man, they're pretty to see running through that water.
Yeah, it is. I like to see a fish racing. And we caught fish after fish after fish. Look at this fish, man. Scooter has done his homework season after season, and this has helped him locate over 50 spots where he can catch fish with a good percentage of certainty. It's also a policy of his not to overfish any one of the spots, and that has really helped him keep his clients on fish day after day.
I'm gonna reel him in on the end. He hit it as soon as he hit the water. What I like to do, Chris, is I'll catch a number of fish, you know, till maybe the bite slows down off a spot, and then we'll pull up to another area, and I'll try not to fish that particular area anymore that day. It kind of just gives the fish a chance to regroup, relax, and kind of reload, so to speak. That ought to do it. You're right in that groove. You should thump it. I just saw it hit.
Yeah, I think you did.
Saw that line jump.
He bumped it right there.
Seems to be right many there this morning.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Man, that's there.
There we go. I am doing the Scooter Lilley approach. That is what I've got here, and
if you miss him the first time, you just drop it right back. You did a good job.
In this net. Uh-huh. Come on.
There he is. Woo. That's a really good one there.
What a fish here. Thank you, sir.
Good,
I appreciate it. Man, what a way to end the evening.
There you go.
A Roanoke striper. I just can't say enough about what's the fishery that's here. And Captain Scooter Lilley has put us on some beautiful, beautiful fish. I'm just couldn't be more satisfied.
Carolina All Out is brought to you by